So we're going to try hopping through the number line. I'm just kidding. I could never do something that cheesy. We are going to use the number line though, but it's going to look a little different. It'll look more like this. There are a few things though I want you to remember and keep in mind as we do this activity with the number line, and that anytime you see a plus sign, that means you move to the right. Anytime you see a subtraction or a minus sign, we move to the left. Anytime you see a negative, that means do the opposite. So what that means is if we are looking at plus 2, we would say we are going to move 2 spaces to the right because plus means we move to the right. But if it says plus negative 2, that means do the opposite. And if we were going to be moving to the right before, we are now going to move to the left. So we move to the left 2 spaces, and that's saying plus negative 2. So we're going to practice that. So what I'm going to do here is do some really basic addition or subtraction with a number line before I get into using negatives. That way you can understand and make sure we know we are using the number line correctly. So let's say I had 2 plus 3. Okay, so I start with my little dot on 2. Now it says plus 3, which means I'm going to move 3 spaces. And like I said, if we see the addition sign, we move to the right. So I'm going to move 3 spaces. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I know that 2 plus 3, and everyone should be able to tell me this obviously by now, 2 plus 3 is 5. This is a visual way of seeing that 2 plus 3 is 5. Okay, now what if I had 2 minus 3? Remember on the last page I said that anytime you see subtraction, it means we go to the left. So again, I would start at 2, but this time I would go to the left 3 spaces. If I move to the left 3 spaces, I get negative 1. And if you think about it, 2 minus 3, I think you should all be able to tell me is negative 1. Right? Okay. So that covers our rudimentary understanding of a number line and how to use one. So now let's say I have 4 plus negative 2. Okay, like I said, every time we see addition, we know we have to go to the right. But every time we see this negative sign, it means do the opposite, which means our going to the right is now turned to the left. So we would start at the number 4, and originally we were supposed to move to the right. But now, like I said, since there's this negative sign, we are going to move to the left 2 spaces. 4 plus negative 2 is positive 2. Okay, now what if I said 4 minus negative 2? I would start at 4 again, and remember, anytime you see minus, it means move to the left. But every time you see negative, it means do the opposite, so we're now going to go to the right. So if I start at 4, I would have gone to the left, but now I'm going to move to the right 2 spaces, and therefore get 6. So 4 minus negative 2 is positive 6. So let's try this again, and this time I'll go without saying as much, or I'll wait for you to do it. So we know we're going to start here with 1 plus 5. We know that we have 1. Okay. It says plus 5. So everyone tell me, which direction should I be moving, to the left or the right? It's to the right. If I move to the right 5 spaces from 1, I will end up on 6. Because we could all tell me that 1 plus 5 is 6. Simple stuff. You can do this. Okay. Let's try it again. Now what if I said 1 minus 5? Without even using a number line, I trust you should be able to tell me it's negative 4. But let's do a visual. So if I started here at 1 and I say minus, now which way am I going to go? To the left or the right? Awesome, to the left. You got it. Okay, so I'm going to move to the left 5 spaces. And if I start at 1 and move 5 spaces to the left, I'm going to end at negative 4. Okay. Now I'm going to change that up on you, and I'm going to turn these to negative 5. So now our original problem, which was 1 plus 5, now says 1 plus negative 5. Our original on the bottom, which said 1 minus 5, now says 1 minus negative 5. So I want you to tell me first, looking at the top one, 1 plus negative 5. Okay, which way, if we see this plus sign, should our arrow go? To the right or to the left? Ding, ding, to the right. But, whoa, back up. We've now got this negative sign. What did I say negative means? it means turn it around. So now do the opposite. It should be going to the left. So if I were to do a visual of 1 plus -5, I would start with 1. I know I'm supposed to go to the right, but then wait, I've got that negative, so I'm supposed to go to the left. I go to the left 5 spaces. I'm going to end up at -4. Okay. Now I've got down here 1 minus, which always means to the which direction? Awesome, you got it right again. If I now have to the left, but then I got this, whoa, stop, wait a minute, this negative sign. Negative sign means I do what again? Turn it around. So instead of going to the left, I'm now going to the right because I have minus a negative. Minus a negative means go to the right because the negative means the opposite of what I was supposed to do. So if I start at +1 and I was supposed to go to the left, I'm now supposed to go to the right 5 spaces. So 1 minus -5 is +6. Okay, so now let's start with a negative number. Ooh, scary. But no, it really is the same concept still. So if it says start at -2, we know we are starting at -2. Okay. Now, if it says +3, my rule was that every time you see an addition sign, you move to which direction? Exactly, to the right. Okay, so it says +3. So if I start at -2, I'm going to move 3 spaces to the right and end on 1. -2 plus 3 is +1. All right, let's do another one. Again, starting at -2, but this time I'm going to subtract 3. Now, this is where a lot of people try to get mixed up, and they say, okay, -2 minus 3, I don't know. Okay, so the rules are still the same. We start at -2, and then what direction do we go every time we see subtraction? Good job, again, to the left. So we move to the left 3 spaces. If we move to the left 3 spaces, we would say that -2 minus 3 is -5. And finally, we're going to throw that negative sign in again. So let's start with -2, and this time we're going to add, and this time we're going to say -3. Okay, now we have those signs. Everyone's getting confused. We're like, okay, so plus a negative, and then we get stuck. Okay, just calm down and say, okay, I know I'm starting at -2. I have a plus sign right here. I know that if I have that plus sign, it means I have to go to the right. But if I have this negative, it means stop, turn around, go the other way. So instead of going to the right, I go to the left. So now I have -2 plus a negative, -3. So I move 3 spaces. So I have -2 plus -3. I have -5. Awesome. Now, let's do it again. -2 and, whoa, minus a negative. And everyone's going to go mentally, ah. But it's okay. It's really not that bad. Tell me, where do I start? Okay, that's half the battle, right? I started at -2. Awesome. Which direction does it go? Every time I say subtract, which direction should I go? Good job on that left thing again. Now, if it says, whoa, slow down, you've got a negative sign there, what happens to my sign? I turn it around and go to the right. So if I'm starting at -2 and I say subtract -3, I'm going to move 3 spaces to the right and end with +1. And really, it's not that bad. You can do it.